Hello, cyber students, and welcome to part 2 of the January 2023 exam. We are now going to begin part B-1. Part B-1 is only questions 31 to 43. That's all we're doing in this video. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and skip these directions, but move on to this wonderful graph here. Base your answers to the question 31 and 32 on the information and graph below and on your knowledge of biology. The graph below shows changes in dissolved oxygen in a pond in the summertime over a 24-hour period. To give you quick advice, my videos are really long. Go ahead and put 2 times speed. You're still going to understand what I'm saying. The video is going to go faster unless you're okay with the speed, but I just wanted to say that just in case you look at the time and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like 30, 40, 50 minutes long. This one shouldn't be too long, but let's get started. Okay, so these 2 questions pertain to this graph. Whenever you have a graph, a picture, a drawing, whatever the case may be, look at it first and see what's happening here. Remember that graphs tell a story. So let's see the title. Dissolved oxygen level in a pond. So this is basically the oxygen levels in pond. Yes, there's oxygen levels in water. Let's look at the y-axis here. We have dissolved oxygen. So the amount of oxygen in the pond is here from 0 to 9. And here are the units. Time of the day is your x-axis. So this is x, this is y. Remember that this is the same as math, okay? As your math class. With the exception of, these numbers not being like 1, 2, 3, because this is talking about time of the day. So here we see that it's dark out around this hour. So this is probably 12 a.m., 2 a.m., 4 a.m., sun rising. The sun is out at this time. And then here the sun sets and it's dark again. So 8 p.m., 10 p.m., 12 p.m., etc. Okay, so let's take a look at the question 31. What is the most likely reason for the variation in the dissolved oxygen levels in the pond over the 24-hour period? So it's definitely going to have to do with the light, okay? Oxygen changes depending on the light source. Okay. So let's take a look at the answers and see which one makes the most sense for number 31. Choice 1 says, the increased light during the day decreases the oxygen produced by photosynthesis. So obviously the oxygen is being produced by photosynthesis because photosynthesis formula, you have CO2 plus H2O plus the sunlight gives you sugar, carbohydrate, and oxygen, right? So we know that photosynthesis, we're making oxygen. But in the daytime, it decreases? That's incorrect. During the daytime, it increases. Okay, choice 2. Photosynthesis produces more oxygen during the day than is used by respiration. So yes, that is correct. For number 31, choice 2 is correct so far. Photosynthesis produces oxygen during the daytime, way more than it needs for the process of cellular respiration. Let's see number 3. Respiration is reduced at night, so the oxygen produced by photosynthesis increases. This is incorrect. More producers are active at night, so dissolved oxygen increases. This is also incorrect. If producers are not active at night, producers are autotrophs. They make their own energy from either chemical means or the sun. So they are not more active at night. So the best answer for 31 is choice 2. Let's see number 32. Number 32 says, a large population of fish was introduced into the pond. During which part of the day would these fish affect the dissolved oxygen level in the pond? So let's see choice 1. Both day and night, because respiration is occurring all the time in plants and animals. This is absolutely true. So cellular respiration, what's the formula for that? So that's oxygen plus glucose sugar gives you ATP energy, H2O as a byproduct, and CO2 as a byproduct. This is a waste product, right? The point is to make energy. This has to happen with living things 24/7. As long as a cell is living, as long as the living organism is living, this is happening 24/7, both day and night. So I'm pretty sure 32 is 1. Nighttime, because no respiration is occurring. Incorrect. Respiration occurs all the time. Daytime, because that is when plants are most active. That's incorrect. Neither day nor night, and that's incorrect as well. Okay. Let's take a look at number 33, which does not involve this anymore. That's it. We're done with the questions that involve the graph. 33. An enzyme that rapidly breaks down a protein molecule in the stomach may break down that same protein much more slowly in the small intestine or mouth because, specific enzymes have to have the correct pH in their environment and the correct temperature in their environment. Here, we're going to talk about, it's going to be the pH. It's very acidic in your stomach. So if it slows down in the intestines, that means that the pH is different. Okay, so let's see the choices of what the choices are giving us. Enzyme in the is digested in those locations? No, it's not. No protein molecules are located in the small intestine. This has nothing to do with the question. The enzyme changes to fit different molecules. Enzymes do not change at all. If anything, they have to stay the same shape. The stomach may have a more suitable environment for the enzyme to work. Yes. So the best choice for number 33 is 4. It has to be at its optimal environment. Next question. Okay, here we have a graph again. Remember, let's always take a look at the graph and what it's telling us. A graph of population changes of 2 animal species over time is shown below. So we have population A, let's say population A is bunny. Let's say population B is the wolf. Just making things up here. I hope I'm correct with the way that this goes, but let's see. For the bunny population, over time, this is the amount of bunnies. It goes up, and then something happens where it starts going down. Okay? So population B, it's going up, and then as it increases and it has its maximum, population A starts decreasing. So this species, when it's really high, is making this species A start dying out. Okay, so let's see what choices it gives us in terms of its relationship. Using the information on the graph, what is the most likely relationship between these two populations? Okay, is it predator-prey, parasite-host, consumer-decomposer, pathogen-host? This is not a bacteria invading a host. This is not a parasite and a host. It's not going to show these kinds of waves. I think it's definitely predator and prey. As this population increases, this one decreases. So this one is hunting this one. It's preying on this one. So choice 34 is choice number 1. Predator-prey relationship. Let's move on to the next one. Again, when you see something, look at what you're looking at. Check it out. What is this? This is an energy pyramid. This is an energy pyramid. Okay? And these numbers represent the energy that's being transferred from one level to the next. Okay? Notice how you have the highest amount of energy down here. These are plants. These are not hairs. They look like hairs. Oh, the drawer, the person who drew this. But this is grass. The rabbit eats the grass. The snake eats the rabbit. The hawk eats the snake. Okay, no problem. Grass gets the most energy from the sun. This energy is then transferred to the bunnies because they're eating it. A lot of the energy from the grass is lost in heat. Okay? Then, when the snake eats the rabbit, it decreases again. Lost in heat, a lot of energy lost in heat, and then it's consumed. And then again, at the top of the food pyramid, you get 0.1% of energy. Okay, that's what's happening. That never changes. Let's see what the question is asking now that we know that. The best explanation for the decrease in the amount of energy available as one moves up the pyramid is that, so take a look again at the diagram. Let's see. Producers require more energy than consumers to survive. Incorrect. Decomposers recycle nutrients. Incorrect. Much of the energy at each level is lost as heat. That is true. That is definitely true. Animals use less energy than plants. This is incorrect. The correct reason as to why things decrease is because energy at each level is lost by heat. So 35 is 3. Next, okay, now might be the time to zoom in, skip through. But as I said before, I'm going to read every single word as you should when you take the test. Base your answers to questions 36 and 37 on the information on the diagram below and on your knowledge of biology. So numbers 36 and 37 have to do with this reading. Okay, let's go ahead and read. Epigenics. The field of epigenics is the study of changes in gene expression due to factors other than a change in the DNA sequence. One factor that can change gene expression is the attachment of a chemical called a methyl group to the DNA molecule. This attachment prevents that gene from being expressed, thereby altering that trait. Due to epigenic effects, even identical twins may not be as identical as was once thought. The diagram below shows the DNA sequence of a gene present in a pair of identical twins. Twins B genes show an epigenic effect. All right, let's take a look. Twin A. Let's take a look first at what's happening with twin A. This is the nucleus, okay? Here's the DNA. We have A, T, C, G, C, T, A. Messenger RNA made. Transferred to site of protein synthesis. Okay, so this one's making a particular protein. Let's see twin B. A, T, C, G. Okay, there's something going on here that's different. No messenger RNA made because the methyl group, something happened over here. There was no transfer to site of protein. So what's happening here is that twin B is not making a particular protein, not making a specific protein, because we know that proteins have different jobs, like enzymes. So let's see question number 36. Researchers have shown that environmental factors such as exposure to toxins can bring about epigenic effects. This research suggests that an organism's trait, so let's take a look at the choices for number 36. Are always determined by its DNA sequence? No. Are only determined by environmental factors? No. Can be influenced by environmental factors? Absolutely. Your DNA can be influenced by environmental factors. So 36 is choice 3. Imagine, okay, we all know you're in New York because you're taking the New York State Regents, so you're in New York. Do you think you would have looked the same, acted the same, would have been the same person if you grew up in a different part of the world? Let's say Europe. Let's say you grew up in Spain, or you grew up in Africa, or you like the same person who you are. I'm not saying like change your ethnicity, change your background. The same exact person that you were born as. That you go to a different, your parents decided to move when you were newborn to a different country. I promise you would have been a different person, different language, different style, different, who knows, different skin color, different hair color, skin color in terms of, is the sun shining brighter? Is it a tropical island? Depending on how does your skin respond to sun. As an example, okay? Are you exposed to more toxins in this different place? Would you be more likely to have cancer? Are you going to be obese in this in this different country? Are you going to be fit in this new country? What kind of foods are you eating? Are you drinking enough water? Is there pollution? Do you have enough oxygen? So many environmental factors. Okay, I'm talking too much about this, but it's also that you understand why it's the choice that it is. Okay, let's take a look at number 37. Based on the diagram, an explanation for why these identical twins are not identical in all traits is that, well, we know that they have a different set of genes here. Okay, the methyl group here is different, and twin B did not make a specific protein. So let's see which one has the best answer. Twin A can synthesize a protein resulting in a particular trait, and twin B cannot. Well, that's what I just explained, but let's take a look at the other ones. Twin B can express a gene that twin A cannot. Twin B can express it cannot. No. That's incorrect. Twin B cannot express, and it's saying that it can. They have different DNA sequences for this particular gene. Let's see. Do they have AA, TT, CC, GG, CC, TT, AA? Nope, it's the same. So this is incorrect. They were formed from the fertilization of two different eggs. No, they're identical twins. So they were formed in the same egg that became two different individuals. So 37, the choice is 1. Okay, we're almost done. All right. Let's start reading for numbers 38 and 39 only. 38 and 39 have to do with this reading only. Copycat. Let's increase this a little bit more. In February 2002, the first ever clone cat was introduced to the public by researchers at Texas A&M University. The kitten had been born December 22nd, 2001, but announcement of the successful cloning was delayed until the animal had completed its shot series and its immune system was fully developed. In the cloning process, DNA, the nucleus, was transplanted from the 2-year-old donor mother cat into an egg cell whose nucleus had been removed. This embryo then implanted into the surrogate mother cat. Okay, we know that story. Number 38. Which statement represents an explanation for why it is necessary to remove the nucleus from the egg cell used during the cloning process? Okay. You need to remove, before I even look at these, you need to remove the nucleus of the donor egg and put in the DNA from the clone so that you can get the clone. If you have, let's say you take the egg from a cat, right? That egg is going to have the chromosomes that it was going to give half to the new kitten. If you're cloning something, it has to be completely, all of the chromosomes ready to make a full kitten. So you need the full chromosomes of a cat. Hold up, Siri. Hey, Siri. How many chromosomes does a cat have? Let me see. 38. You need 38 Okay, Siri, that's enough. Cats have 38 chromosomes. So you need the full 38 chromosomes. You can't keep the nucleus that's already there. So you're going to have 38 and then whatever half of 38 is there. So then you're going to have 38 plus the half of 38. No way. No way. So that's not how it works. So let's see which one is the correct answer for number 38. If the X cell nucleus remains in the cell, then there will be 3 copies of all cat chromosomes in absolutely. That's definitely what's happening here. If the X cell nucleus is not removed, it will be impossible to predict the color. It's going to have way more problems than predicting colors of cats. Removing the egg cell nucleus from the egg cell will cause the cell to become a body cell. That doesn't make sense. If the egg cell nucleus is not removed, then the cloned cat will always develop into male. Nope, not it. 38, the choice is 1. If a donor cat was black and the surrogate mother was white, then the cloned cat would likely be, so let's check. This is talking about the color of how, offspring become. It's very dependent on the DNA. Very dependent on the DNA, okay? Because there's a dad, there's a mom, male, female. Things get shuffled and then, you've done the Punnett square. So let's take a look at what choices we have for number 39. White due to the color of the surrogate mother. That's not how it works. Okay. White due to mutations of the clone. Nope. Black due to having the same DNA as the donor cat. The donor cat, that's right. The surrogate mother, surrogate meaning it was just for the pregnancy. The cat is not biologically related to the surrogate. The surrogate just has the uterus as a place for the embryo to grow. But that cat is not related to the kitten. So the black due to having the same DNA as the donor cat. The donor cat, yes. Black and white due to mixing. We never said it was black and white. Okay, so the best choice for number 39 is choice 3. Okay, we're nearing the end of part 2. Bacteria reproduce asexually by a process known as binary fission. In binary fission, the bacterium's single chromosome is copied and the cell splits in half, with each new cell receiving a copy of the chromosome. The biggest advantage that binary fission often has over sex reproduction is that, so binary fission, you have a bacteria, it splits into 2, and it makes 2 bacteria. Let's say it had 3 chromosomes. The sister cells will each have 3 chromosomes because you have 2 new bacteria here, the daughter cells. So let's see what choices we have for number 40. Let's also highlight what is the question here. The biggest advantage, what is the best thing about having this type of reproduction? Okay. For number 40. There is more genetic variety? Absolutely not. There's no variety. It's the same exact clone. The genetic material comes from 2 parents? It surely does not. It only comes from 1 parent. The offspring inherit only favorable genes? That's not how it works. You inherit what you inherit. A large number of identical offspring are produced? Yes. That's true. I mean, I don't know how beneficial it is, but choice 40 is choice number 4. Okay. Number 41. For years, scientists believed that flight evolved when ancestral birds climbed trees and then glided back to the ground. Recent fossils evidence suggests that flight may have evolved from the ground up, as early birds used to jump off the ground as a way to avoid predators. These discoveries suggest that. So, this is a discovery made that they feel that birds evolved because they had to jump up to escape their predators. So they want you to choose the correct reason as to why this evolutionary change happened. Scientists use only fossil evidence to study flight. That's incorrect. Scientific understandings can change as new information becomes available. That is very true. That is very, very true. We can only theorize with the proof that we've gotten on Earth. When we get new information, we then can change the understanding of things that we once thought was different. Most birds avoid predators by jumping off the ground into the air. This is incorrect. Ancestral birds always climbed trees. And how do we know that? We don't have enough information for that. So for 41, the best answer is 2. Okay, let's move on to our last 2 questions. We made it to the end of part 2. Let's get to reading. Colombia is a country in South America that grows and exports a large portion of coffee. I love coffee. That is used by Americans. A group of scientists in Colombia conducted an experiment on the effects of coffee on the development of Alzheimer's disease in the elderly people. Their conclusion was that drinking coffee every day will increase the occurrence of Alzheimer's disease, and they recommended that Americans drink coffee several times a day. Will decrease. Let me just annotate that. In order to evaluate this conclusion and before they encourage Americans to drink more coffee, scientists in the United States should, okay? So let's take a look at the choices and see which one makes the most sense for what we just read. Conduct their own experiment to see if they arrive at the same conclusion. Absolutely. Scientists in the United States, when one country made an experiment, the other country should do the exact same experiment and not change a thing and see if they come up with the same exact conclusion. Go to Colombia and see how coffee is grown? No. Provide coffee to people with Alzheimer's and see if it cures their disease? You can't cure a disease with coffee. Are you kidding me? Construct a data table to test a hypothesis. You need more than that. You need to do the entire experiment. You need to do the entire experiment and see if you get the same conclusions as was discovered in Colombia. Okay. Last question with the toads. Look at this sad little toad. Look at this face. Aw, did you guys dissect frogs by any chance? I was not able to do that with my students this year, but let's do our last question, number 43. The graphs below display the percent of monitoring stations where 3 different amphibian species were seen. The data were collected between 1995 to 2007 in the wetlands surrounding the Great Lakes. Here we have the American toad. Here we have the bullfrog. Here we have the spring pepper. And then these different, this is showing us percentage of monitoring stations reporting amphibians in Great Lakes. So this is, I guess, the populations. Okay. Which claims is best supported by the data represented in the graphs? Okay, so which one is true? I know this is just 1 point, but this kind of question takes time. But don't overthink things. Just look at the choices and see which one makes the correct sense. The American toad, okay, we're going to go to the American toad. Population increased by approximately 57% from 1995 and 40% more in 2007. No, it went down the whole time. Incorrect. Wrong. Let's see the next one. The bullfrog population, bullfrog, hey buddy, decreased every year between decrease and increase. This is wrong. Choice 3. The spring pepper, hey spring pepper, population is at about the same level in 2007 as it is in 1995. So this is about, you can say this is 2007. Okay, yeah. Is it the same as it was in 2005? It sure was. 43 is choice 3. We know 4 is wrong, but let's just go ahead and read it. And let me highlight choice number 3 as the correct one. All 3 amphibian populations were infected. What? What? Infected with what? There's no information here talking about infections. So, okay. We finished part 3. How did you do? Because remember, you were told to do this ahead of time or with me. And for the next ones, with the graph and the short responses, I really do suggest that you pause the video before I explain things. Do try to do the question and then let me explain it if you don't want to do it ahead of time first. All right, so I'll see you in the next video with part B2.